For finding the theme and contrast in the movie, it's important to look at the setting, the characters, and how these affect each other. Randall McMurphy is a loud, courageous, and confident man who isn't afraid of saying his opinion. He's the protagonist of the story because he plays a major part in the events, so without Randall, there would be no story. He represents freedom for the other patients who are held down by Nurse Ratched. He's the opposite of the oppressed ward, which is ruled by Nurse Ratched. McMurphy isn't mentally ill, as he wants the hospital to think. First, he was sent to the Pendleton work farm to serve a 6-month sentence, but he believed that the mental hospital would be better. But meeting Nurse Ratched and her power over him makes him regret it. He is a round character because he's capable of growing and changing, and he's also a dynamic character because he changes as a result of the experiences he has. At the start, he only thought about himself, but at the end, he actually cared about others. Because of the experiences in the mental hospital, he realizes that he can't only be thinking of himself. He sees the bad in Nurse Ratched and goes against her, and it's not only for himself, but also for the others. Whom protagonist struggles is called the antagonist, and in this case, it's Nurse Ratched. She controls the hospital ward and she's a strict lady. She is middle-aged and has brown, short hair. She rules the ward in a tyrannical way and she has a facade in front of everyone. Instead of helping the patients, she destroys their self-esteem by manipulation. And that's why she takes advantage of her power and authority. She makes she has this program that has the purpose to remove humanity from her patients. She also controls the medication, what they eat, when they're allowed to go outside, and so on. She takes their privileges away, and when they do something she doesn't like, she has the power to send them for example, electroshock treatments. Chief Bromden is a big, long-haired Indian man. Everyone in the hospital believes that he's deaf and dumb, but as we move further into the movie, McMurphy finds out that he isn't deaf. And McMurphy also believes that he isn't dumb. So McMurphy is the only person who doesn't believe or think that Chief is stupid. He actually thinks he's smart. Chief is very alone and he doesn't communicate with others at start, but he slowly develops. McMurphy helps him recover because he believes in him, and at the end Chief escapes and goes from being paranoid towards sanity. And here's a picture of Chief escaping. Billy Bibbit is a wide and little guy who stutters. He is afraid of the outside world, and that is why he is volunteering. He's very shy and very pressed down by Nurse Ratched, and he's also very afraid of his mother. Billy Bibbit's story is subplot in the movie. His story supports the main plot because Billy Bibbit's story shows Nurse Ratched's power. At the end of the movie, Ratched catches him and threatens to tell his mother. Here, Ratched goes personally into Billy Bibbit's brain and uses his mother against him because Billy Bibbit is afraid of his mother. First, Billy was proud of having slept with the woman that McMurphy brought in, and all the other patients were also proud. He also didn't stutter as he used to, and he was very happy. But his smile fades as soon as Nurse Ratched brings up his mother. He starts to stutter again and shakes. He gets so scared by Nurse Ratched, and she just waits until he breaks. His mom is the only woman he fears more than Ratched, and it terrifies him so much that he commits suicide. The story mainly takes part at the mental hospital. Here it's wide, clean, and well ordered, and everything is the same. An example is when McMurphy wanted to see the basketball game, but he got a no because Nurse Ratched wants everything to be in her way. And there's a clear contrast of the setting outside and inside. And this is the function of the setting. The inside is a hospital and it's very harsh and there's no freedom. But when McMurphy takes the other patients to the sea, we see the outside, and here's a clear contrast from no freedom to freedom outside. And the setting as an antagonist takes place because there's a clear antagonist, which is Nurse Ratched. She's the enemy and the person that goes against the main character, McMurphy. She goes against him in a very harsh way, and it's only because he wants to do the opposite of what she does. She wants to keep the patients locked, while he tries to set them free. The analysis of the characters, setting, and subplot well supports and confirms the theme sacrifice. The subplot supports because the main character McMurphy sacrifices himself on behalf of the patients, and especially Billy Bibbit, as we see in the subplot. McMurphy has hate against Ratched, and from start he slowly gathers the patients around him to start some sort of rebellion against her. At start he was very loose and he didn't really care about the patients, but as we move along he changes and he actually gets to know the patients and cares about them. And he takes the patients out on a trip to fish, and here it's really clear that he goes against Ratched's no changes politics, because he helps the patients to be free. His biggest sacrifice is when Billy dies and he attacks Ratched, and he sacrifices his own freedom and sanity for Billy Bibbit and the other patients. The title, One Flew Out of the Cuckoo's Nest, could mean that she flew out of the nest when he jumped out of the window and escaped. And this is what McMurphy wanted for him. Because McMurphy starts out powerful, sane, and happy, but he ends up helpless and dead because he sacrificed himself for the benefit of all the other patients.